When you go to take your final, whether you hook to vapor or liquid does not make a difference to me. This is R22. R22 is not a blended refrigerant. So technically for this unit, we would be using vapor. If it was 410, we would be using liquid. So I'll go ahead and hook back to the vapor side here. We're gonna hook up to the vapor side right there. Great. Open the recovery tank and purge the hose at the core tool. Remember, when you purge, you have to think about which direction the pressure is pushing. This hose is empty. This system's empty. All of our pressure is in that tank. So when I open this tank up, where I want to purge, the pressure's in the tank, it's going to move down the hose this way. I want to purge down here. Shut it off. Now that hose has nothing but refrigerant inside of it. There are no contaminants. Step number 3. Open the core tool and allow refrigerant to recharge into the system. I am simply going to open this core tool and you will hear the refrigerant back into the system as the system's under vacuum and the tank is under pressure. You're going to try to put as much of the refrigerant back into the system as possible, minding the fact that you have that factory charge. The factory charge on this is 5.44. We don't want to go and put like 10 pounds in this system because that might overcharge the system. So we want to either do what we recovered or what the factory charge is. If we recovered 3 pounds and the factory charge is 5.44, you can put 5.44 back in. If you recovered 8 pounds and the factory charge is 5.44, then you can probably just put the 8 pounds back in because you probably have like a long line set or something like that, okay? Once you've replaced the factory charge, or as much as the recovery tank can be replaced before it loses pressure, close the tank. So we put the factory charge back in. I'm now going to go ahead and close this tank down, stop the flow of refrigerant, close the valve on the core tool and remove your hose. I'm going to go ahead and close this valve here, and I can take this hose apart. Just like that. Step number 6, remove the micron gauge from the liquid line. Now that this system's under pressure, we can take that micron gauge off. The reason I recommend not doing it sooner is because as you remove that micron gauge, you are going to get a very quick refrigerant coming out at you. That only happens if the system has refrigerant in it and is under pressure. If the system is under a deep vacuum and you try to remove that micron gauge, it's going to suck some atmosphere in. Probably not enough to affect much, but still, we don't want that. And so in the interest of trying to be as good at our job as we can, we want to remove it after the system's under pressure. So now that we have refrigerant in here, I can remove this piece of cake, set that aside. And the last step, replace the core into the section line. Note, check the core holds the charge before removing from the service port. Pull out your stem, close the valve, remove the stem, slowly open your ball valve and ensure that no refrigerant escapes. If nothing comes out, you can remove the rest of the tool. So specifically what that means, I'm going to take this stem with the core. I'm going to hook it onto the end of the core tool here. Out of the way so you can see. Hooked it onto the end of the core tool here. Open the ball valve, push the stem in, screw the core back in. Once the core is screwed back in, you'll know it's done because you won't go any farther. Don't crank on it. Pull your stem back out and reclose this ball valve. Remove this from the end. Now I can look at this and see that the core is gone. It went somewhere. It must have gone into the unit. So I know the Schrader core went back in. Now we're going to check. Is the Schrader core acting properly and holding the charge? So I'm going to open this ball valve. If the core is broken, we're going to get a steady stream of refrigerant coming out. It's just going to psh and keep going. At which point I can close that ball valve, save my system charge, put the stem back in, remove the broken Schrader core, put a new Schrader core in, and kind of start over. But at least we didn't blow the whole system charge. Or your second possibility is that you're going to hear a little bit of refrigerant come out. It's going to go psh and stop. That means the Schrader core is holding the pressure. If the Schrader core is holding the pressure, you're safe to remove that tool. So we're going to open this and stop. Means the Schrader core is holding. Therefore, I can remove this tool. Now, one of the things you'll notice is, as I open and close this ball valve, if a jet stream of refrigerant was to come out, it's going to come out this way. Notice my fingers are not in the way of that jet stream. So even if the worst possibility happens, my digits are still fairly safe by testing it this way. However, if I just went to remove this tool without checking, refrigerant could come flying out of this valve here. And that's when it's going to coat your hand and you're going to be in big trouble. Not with me, with the hospital. Once you are all done with that, there's two more steps that are not on that sheet. If you skip them, I won't hold it against you on the lab final, but understand these are very important steps. The last two steps are, one, make sure you clean up all your tools. I cannot tell you how many times I've met people who have left tools behind in someone's backyard. And now they're out like $300 because I guarantee you that a lot of times homeowners do not call you up and go, hey, I found these tools in my backyard. They go, oh sweet, they left this behind. Going in the garage, okay? Two, make sure you charge your customer a lot of money. None of us are here for charity. So write up a fat ticket and make sure you can pay your mortgage.